Good morning, everyone here at the Zen Center and anyone out in the cosmos who's joined us today. I'd like us to give some thought, some attention this morning to one of the key elements in the Buddha Dharma, and that is the interconnectedness and interpenetration of all things, bees and birds, rocks and flowers, all human beings, all creatures. We cannot exist without each other. We cannot exist without other elements. We are composed of other elements. Interdependence, interconnectivity is one of the basic principles of the Buddha Dharma. And it's also, in my mind, been very clearly demonstrated mechanically, scientifically in the last 2,000 years, that it's true. And at a more esoteric level, there are ideas that we are actually all one being. We are actually all one being. And regardless of whether one's able to get your mind wrapped around that second part, in the tradition we talk an awful lot about compassion. Yes? Yes. An awful lot about compassion. We don't talk about what that means. We don't talk about what it means to be compassionate. For people who I know, who are intimate, close to, I can feel compassion for their trouble. I can feel concern and caring if somebody's struggling. I can project out in the future and offer good wishes and positive thoughts if somebody's going through something challenging. Those would be some examples, I think, of compassion for people that I know, people who impact my life directly. How does compassion show up with all those stupid people? There's so many stupid people. Ignorant, immature, undeveloped. Right? There's just so many stupid people out there. They haven't got a clue. They're morons. Right? Right? Those are all judgments, of course, that I have, I may have, that you may have. Well, what do we do? How do we extend compassion? Ought we extend compassion to people with whom we disagree? Or toward people whom we feel are doing harm? Can we feel compassion towards someone who's violated another person physically, emotionally, sexually, taken advantage of them financially? Can I feel compassion toward those people? And Lord knows there's plenty of people who have done those things. Can I have compassion toward people who have absolutely different political frame of reference than I do? An absolutely contrary view what it's like to be in community, what it's like to be part of a functioning society? Can I show compassion toward people who look at things in a very different way? I think that's the ultimate measure of compassion. If you've hurt me, if you've violated me, can I still feel compassion toward you? If you've let me down in some meaningful, powerful way, torn my heart out and stomped on it, stolen all my money, can I still feel compassion toward you?
Yes. Is that the right answer?
I think that's a question worth considering in for all time, not just for this most interesting time where there's such division and such divisiveness, and going forward when the next thing happens to us, the next thing happens to you. Can I feel compassion toward you? Ought I feel compassion? Ought I understand the source of that behavior, the reason behind that decision someone made that ended up hurting me? Is that a worthwhile exercise? I would argue that it's critical. And all of us are different. And for some of us that may come easier. For some circumstances it might be very hard, very hard. It's part of the Buddha Dharma. We talk about compassion in our service, at least a half a dozen different places. Wisdom, compassion, and skillful means. But those cannot just be words. Those cannot just be words. If we're truly going to live and grow in Buddha, in the Buddha Dharma, those can't just be words. Those have to be conscious decisions, at least in my view. What do I know? I've said before that one of the most powerful things I've learned in a very long time was doing my prison work. I was a volunteer in prison for a long time. And one of the very first times I was there for a group, 8 men, 8 inmates and 2 volunteers, something was being discussed. I have no idea what it was. And one of the inmates, inside men, he said, you know, hurt people hurt people. Wow. That was just an amazing thing to hear from a convict in a prison, of all things. So if somebody has hurt you, or if you feel hurt by somebody's behavior, ask yourself, what are they struggling with? Who hurt them? What caused them to be unhappy? Caused them to be violent? Caused them to be uncaring? To live in the Buddha Dharma is to be compassionate toward all beings.